Shall I start the program?
Yes.
To start with the greatest name of Almighty Allah, most gracious and merciful, whose boundaries are unbounded, whose benevolence is everlasting, whose blessings are uncountable, whose being is eternal, whose mercy is unlimited, whose provisions are unending, whose worship is our faith and his faith is our life, and to remember him in everything is for his sake. On behalf of Aura team, I, Umaima Shehwar Maryam, welcome all of you with Islamic greetings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace and mercy of Allah Ta'ala be upon you. Greetings and warm welcome to this experts review session by Aura e-magazine, December edition. Hosted and organized by Aura Readers Club, Andhrapradesh. Today, I feel very privileged to host this experts review program, Alhamdulillah. I'm thankful to Muhtarama Rahmatunnisa Sahiba, Chief Editor of Aura e-magazine, for organizing this program. As a tradition since 1400 years ago, let's start the program with the recitation of Holy Quran. I would like to call Sister Hajra, a Korkan of JIH, for recitation, followed by translation by Sister Najma. Sister Hajra.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Remembers बताया था ना 100% singular के साथ?
Remembers ना बोली ना मैंने अभी.
He is remembers बोला आपने. नहीं. He is नहीं use करते ना present simple में.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أفحسب الذين كفروا أن يتخذوا عبادي من دوني أولياء إنا أعتدنا جهنم للكافرين نزلا قل هل ننبئكم بالأخسرين أعمالا الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا وهم يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا أولئك الذين كفروا بآيات ربهم ولقائه فحبطت أعمالهم فلا نقيم لهم يوم القيامة وزنا ذلك جزاؤهم جهنم بما كفروا واتخذوا آياتي ورسلي هزوا إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات كانت لهم جنات الفردوس نزلا خالدين فيها لا يبغون عنها حولا قل لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي لنفد البحر قبل أن تنفد كلمات ربي ولو جئنا بمثله مددا قل إنما أنا بشر مثلكم يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد فمن كان يرجو لقاء ربه فليعمل عملا صالحا ولا يشرك بعبادة ربه أحدا جزاك الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
I would like to call Sister Najma for translation.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, most merciful. Do the disbelievers think they can simply take my servants as Lord instead of me? We have surely prepared hell as an accommodation for the disbelievers. Say, O Prophet, shall we inform you of who will lose the most deeds? They are those whose efforts are in vain in this worldly life, while they think they are doing good. It is they who reject the signs of the Lord and their meeting with Him, rendering their deeds void. So we will not give their deeds any weight on the judgment day. That is their reward, hell, for their disbelief and mockery of my signs and messengers. Indeed, those who believe and do good will have the gardens of paradise as an accommodation, where they will be forever, never desiring anywhere else. Say, O Prophet, if the ocean were ink for writing the words of my Lord, it would certainly run out before the words of my Lord were finished, even if we refilled it with its equal. Say, O Prophet, I am only a man like you, but it has been revealed to me that your God is only one God. So, whoever hopes for the meeting with their Lord, let them do good deeds and associate none in the worship of their Lord. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khairan kathira. Aura is a monthly e-magazine. It's a woman's magazine with a difference. The magazine attempts to engage with women voices and debates, while centering social, political, economic, and personal experience of women from different communities, drawing upon the framework of gender justice and social justice. Now, I would like to invite Sister Shaima S., sub-editor of Aura e-magazine, for the welcome address. Over to you, Raj.
Greetings to everybody. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. And first of all, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all the experts who have decided to take time out and read our magazine and come today and offer their critical reviews on the magazine. As well as to all the organizers of this program who have put it together. I'm very glad that as a sub-editor of the magazine, I have been given this opportunity to welcome you all to Aura Readers Club Andhrapradesh program. And so what I will basically do in the time given to me is to briefly highlight the idea behind Aura as well as the Readers Club programs, and so that we can sort of set the tone for the evening. So as already mentioned, Aura is a digital monthly women's magazine, English language women's magazine that was started in March of last year. And in the issues so far, we have tried to be as comprehensive and cover as many different debates, contemporary debates as possible, thus expanding the traditional purview of what a women's magazine looks like. So very consciously, we set out to go beyond these traditional limitations of a women's magazine and look at political issues, educational issues, social issues, issues around gender, faith, religion, family, environment, because we believe that all of these issues are women's issues. All of these issues, the world around us concerns us as women. And simultaneously, as women, our perspective on these issues might be unique and different, and therefore, different from many other magazines that take on the same issues. So when we, got a few months into the production of the magazine, we thought that it would be important that as a new magazine, in a new format, it's very important to establish a sort of feedback mechanism where we can have a transparent, open, and friendly discussion with our readers, many of whom are very senior experts in their field, and find out what they feel about the magazine. Is it on the right path? Are the issues that are being raised correctly? Are there things that can be added in the magazine that are not there so far? So with that purpose in mind, we set out to create this kind of Aura Readers Club, where across the country, different states, different regions, cities, every month we bring together a set of experts who give their take on the magazine. So keeping that in mind, I would like to just put some pointers out there, since after this the review will begin. That I encourage you to whatever, I'm assuming that maybe you volunteer to take up an article or an article was assigned to you. I invite you to critically give your opinions, in the sense, if there is something you don't like, if there is something that you think should not have been there, you can voice it out freely. If there are things that come to your mind as you went through the magazine about what else could have been there, you can voice that out freely as well. So consider this to be an open space and give your critical comments. That can be on the language, that can be on the content, on the design, on the approach, on the style, or anything that you feel should have been there and is not there. So that's one thing. And I think without taking up too much more of your time, I would like to thank you once again and hand it back over to the convener. And I really hope that from this meeting, one-time meeting, we can all grow together. So that from reviewing the magazine, you can also start writing in the magazine. You can also start giving us opinions on the magazine. We are available at our email, at our personal phone numbers, whatever it is. And so that you can also become a part of Aura in the long run and help us shape the magazine to be better. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sister Shaima, for addressing the readers. Please make me unmute, please. Yeah. Thank you, Sister Shaima, for addressing the readers. We'll now be continuing our program with the review by experts. If you educate a man, you educate a man. If you educate a woman, you educate a generation. First, among us, today, among us, we have great experts who would be sharing their experiences with Aura. Among us is an inspiration to all of us, a senior associate professor at the Department of Pharmaceutics. I heartily welcome Dr. Sheikh Arifa Begum Sahiba, who is I heartily welcome Sheikh Arifa Begum Sahiba. It's a privilege to have you here on this platform, ma'am. Ma'am completed his B Pharmacy, M Pharmacy, and completed her PhD in Pharmaceutical Sciences. With 14 plus years of experience in teaching graduate, undergraduate, and PG courses in pharmaceutics, physical pharmaceutics, industry pharmacy, pharmaceutical formulas, drug delivery, etc. She bagged many awards, adding many achievements in her bucket. Recently, on December 17, that is on Saturday, DK International Research Education hosted global awards in which Dr. Arifa Begum Sahiba is awarded under Excellence Teaching in Higher Education Award. Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you.
She is reviewing the article, Life is Like a Baking Cake. How are you, ma'am?
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Good evening to all of you.
Yeah. So very good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm here to give my expert talk on life is like baking a cake, particularly in the children's corner section. So this, one second, I'll just go through the. Yeah. I want to appreciate Sister Sophia Tazeen for writing this children's corner article. Life is like baking a cake. She has extremely taken care to convey the message rightly to the kids in a proper way, that is in a very simplified manner with a proper illustration and with the picturesque explanation. Alhamdulillah, this article is written from the glimpses of Quran and Hadith, highlighting that patience is everything, which makes up the life beautiful against all odds, isn't it? I think I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. In a very beautiful way, sister has conveyed the importance of looking the goodness in everyone and omitting the bad perspective. Yeah, in world we may not come across everything. It's not like life is like a bed of roses. It's not like a bed of roses. So everyone will be encountering through a lot of hurdles and struggles, but still what makes us strong, stand tall against all odds is shaping us and how Allah tests us and how we have to embark all these hurdles. So in this beautiful story, she has narrated the conversation between a grandparent, that is grandmother, and his little grandson. So what I think is today in today's life, everybody is occupied with hectic schedules. Not only with hectic schedules, even the children, even the parents. The in this line, the grandparents are being neglected. Having a beautiful conversation between a grandmother and a grandson. It's not only highlighting the uh, significance of upbringing by grandparents in a beautiful way, how it adds on flavor to the lives in little kids' life. That's what it is missing. The time uh, the, which is not being spent uh, between the grandparents and the grandkids. And moreover, in today's life, the kids are being preoccupied with all these online classes, or they're available with the biggest time killer in their hands. That's the mobile phones, and that's what gadgets, which has to be actually be avoided. And the best thing how we can uh, uh, bring up uh, goodness, good qualities in a child is through making their time very productive, to make use of their time very productively. So it is not that we have to stop all the usage of these gadgets, or when we say directly to a kid or a child, he may not be accepting our instructions. He'll not be taking up our instructions, right? So the best thing is rather than stopping the child every time. So it is like they think that they are being not given importance for their uh, aspirations, whatever it might be, or how they want to spend their time. But making examples of good sort, how the productive time utilization has to be done through small narrative stories. Rather than stories, they don't follow the instructions. The main thing is that with the kids, they don't follow the instructions. they follow us actually. They don't follow the instructions, but rather they follow us. So we have to ensure that we have that sort of positive upbringing in our surroundings, so that which can be carried away by our kids too, or children too. And when it comes to the inculcation of good traits, good characteristics in kids, patience, sabr se sab kuch hasil ho sakta hai. Even though nothing seems to be uh, achievable, or it can't be possible. Whatever seems impossible, it can be made possible only through patience. आजकल बच्चों में in today's generation, the most lacks what we used to have in our childhood, because we were not preoccupied with all these gadgets and all. But nowadays, there is no scope for reading. So in this era, in this scenario, so bringing up such a good magazine or a magazine which can be reached to all the generations. That means even the elder generation, even the younger generation, even the children corner is also there. So where everyone is getting connected to this magazine, and which is easy to understand the concepts or the articles that have been written in a very simplified way. Every care is taken that it is being made very illustrative, very picturesque, very catchy. And the best thing about this is the glimpses of Quran and Hadith are being highlighted in this, which is a very good thing in my perspective. I congratulate and appreciate Sophia Tazeen for writing this article. Life is like baking a cake. And next to this, there is a wonderful session highlighted for the children to work on, which is a brainstorming session, like solving some Sudokus and all. That is how their time can be invested in a productive way. So I appreciate Sophia Tazeen. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank
I
you.
want to congratulate all the organizers and the editorial team of Aura Magazine for bringing such a wonderful magazine, which is focusing on all aspects, not only the societal issues, and even the children. This is for uh, all category of people, starting from younger generation to the kids even. Thank you so much for your effort in bringing up this magazine in a very positive outlook. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for taking your time, valuable time, and thank you for sharing your views on family bonding, etc. Now, I would like to call Srimati C.H. Nalini Garu, as she's working as an office admin in Dasgah Islami High School. She will be reviewing the article, I am successful but unhappy. Srimati C.H. Nalini Garu.
Good evening, Andy. Good evening, everybody. I'm very happy to share my feelings about this magazine, Aura magazine, and thanks for giving me this opportunity to share my views on this magazine. And in this magazine, almost all the topics have been covered, which are useful to all the women, especially for women, and not only a particular generation, all the types of generations of women can go through this magazine. And today I'm going to give my review on one topic, that is, I am successful but unhappy. It's a very good article written by Jasim. And in this article, what I got is money makes nothing. We all know, many of them says money makes everything. But this article given me a review that money makes nothing. Not only earning money is not a happiness or successful. here earning money, having a luxurious life, and getting whatever we want doesn't give us a real happiness. So the real happiness is inner happiness, and what we are thinking that real happiness is that earning money is not a happiness, it is instant happiness. So we have to make our children what they have to know what is a real happiness, from where we can get the real happiness. So nowadays many of them are not spending with their families, or not even going through the traditions relationships, they're not maintaining the relationships. So they're thinking giving the money whatever they want, whatever we children need, we are giving them at any time. So we have to make them know what is the happiness and how can we get the happiness. And this magazine, and this particularly this article gives a conclusion for all the confusions between the happiness and the success. And in this article, especially related to the God, if anything happens good to us, we immediately thank to the God. And if anything happens bad, we'll react negatively immediately when everything happens bad. But in this article, they said, be patient, which turns into good. It's very, really nice. And and one more thing in this article is that we should be happy with what we are having always. Here, the real happiness comes from the satisfaction, confidence, and the relations we maintain with our family members, maintaining the moral values, and all the depends upon our conditional mind also. It was mentioned in this article that happiness depends upon the our mind, conditions of our mind. So whatever any negativity happens, we should not regret to it. We have to go to the all the negative things, which definitely turns into the positiveness. So this magazine really is very good. I went through the first time, and thanks for giving me this valuable opportunity. And not only the articles, many other topics have been covered in this magazine. It's a health, a children's corner, and relating to politics, social issues. All the issues have been covered in this magazine. It's a very good magazine, especially for the women. And not only the article, the remaining, I went to remaining articles also. Life is like a baking a cake, and the shape of the water. So the shape of water is a very beautiful article, and some many success stories of the women. So very thankful to the organizers and the editors of this Aura magazine. And finally, I would like to congratulate all the organizers, and I thank to all the organizers and the editors of this Aura magazine, and pray to the God that it goes on well and goes to a successful end. Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Happiness is with what we have, ma'am said. Thank you for sharing your valuable views on the article and going through other articles also. Next, I would like to call Mohatarma Shamim Sahiba. She is an assistant professor in computers at KBN College, Vijayawada. She has overall 20 years of experience in teaching, and she has done MTech and MCA. And she will be reviewing the article Why Devadasi System Still Exists After 75 Years of Independence Day. Over to you, Baji.
Assalamu alaikum. A very good evening to all. Is my voice audible?
Yes, Baji, you're audible.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity, as well as I have just gone through all the topics of Aura magazine, and indeed they are very splendid. And I was given the topic, why does the Devadasi system still exist after 75 years of independence? A topic which makes every citizen, especially women, to think of. I really appreciate the author Nurullah Javed Saab, who cast a light on this archaic tradition which continues to prevail in India even after 75 years of independence. In this article, when I have gone through, the author tried to define the Devadasi system and its history right from the 6th century, which is dated back to 6th century, and he elaborated all the topics on the reasons and views of women who were into this. And it is actually you can say that it is a brave act, because taking a cause of a noble cause on Devadasi system and writing in the form of an article is indeed which is to be commendable. In spite of being one of the biggest democracies and having the longest history of affirmative policies in place, India has many unfair practices that confront minorities due to few oligarchies that have risen to power politically, socially, and financially. In spite of laws that exist against Devadasi system, it is still practiced in many rural areas in India. The author has really pointed out all these points and making a very research on the reports as well as the reasons and the articles which come in the newspapers as well as the research articles. And though the number of girls who are being dedicated into the system is on decline when compared to the previous years or previous decades, it was around some 20,000 to something like that, and then some 50,000, 70,000. But nowadays it has not come to zero, but still it is there are some still 10 to thousands of girls who are being dedicated to temples in the name of God. That is a very foolishness. In India alone, their system is known by different names like Devadasi, Matamma, Jogini, Basavi, and many more. Having gone through the figures and facts, around 79% were dedicated as Devadasis through close family members. That means the author has pointed out they are not the outsiders who push the women into this dirty job, but actually it was done by the family close members. That is, some are done by the father, some are done by the mother, as well as some relatives, and in some of the villages, surprisingly, it is done by the local leaders. That means we can understood how much caste discrimination is there in the sexual exploitation. And a few reasons, if you go through, the mentioned few reasons are some of the what you call the superstitious in the sense, if the child is sick, it is frequently ill, we are just pushing him into to become Devadasi. Or else, if no male child is there in the family, you are asking the girl child to become Devadasi. Such is the superstitions which are already inbuilt in the some religion which are right from the thousands of years back, you can say. And the legitimacy and upbringing of their children is a major problem for the Devadasi. That means though the Devadasi want to come out of this filth job, they are not able to come out because they could not give the proper education to their children, because they can't enroll, they can't give the name to their father's name in the admission of the school records. And moreover, they could not find an alternate profession in the sense, okay, being motivated by some government official or by some NGOs, even though they want to come out of these dirty jobs, they could not find another job, a decent job, because members of this system lack economic, social, and cultural capital. because it is controlled by men of from upper caste. Upper caste upper caste people used to handle all the financial matters. So the lower caste women could not spend the money, as well as spend the money for the children's education. And though they want to improve the standard of living, they could not do that. And further, the author also mentioned that law enforcement agencies remain mere spectators. It's a very good line actually. Why? Because though many laws are being written or initiated, nothing is being implemented. If you observe the laws which are enforced, they are just on the mere paper itself, but they are not they don't come into implementation. Agreeing to this statement, I have observed some of the loopholes. The first law prohibiting the dedication of women as devadasi was passed before independence. The last one was passed close to 16 years ago. That means even far before the independence, a first law was passed. But unfortunately, it has not come into existence as well as implementation. The implementation part is important. Reporting of cases pertaining to this system is very low. That means the cases which were reported recently in the Mahbub Nagar also, a girl reported that they are pushing the devadasi. I mean, she is being pushed into the devadasi system, but no action has been taken. That means when the government officials are visited, the locals were not supporting the government officials, and they were feeling as it is as an insult to their culture. And in such cases, role of social activists also play a prominent role, like Shobha Gasti from Karnataka. She has won the Nari Shakti Award, and several activists are there, like Muthu Lakshmi Reddy and Rukmini Arundel. These are people who strive for this noble cause. But unfortunately, apart from all these reforms and all these changes, the scenario remains the same. That is caught in the vicious and never-ending cycle of poverty, social backwardness, illiteracy, and obligation to fend for their families. Devadasis from a young age of post-puberty spend their lives in the forced servitude and fear, and they would invite the wrath and curse of gods should they defy their dedication. So apart from all this, we can only bring the laws into existence, and really appreciate the author for bringing up with such a good article. And I thank and I congratulate the Oro magazine organizers, as well as especially Maryam, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you one and all.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much, Baji, for sharing your views on history, how women were treated and they were suppressed, how their voices were suppressed.
Thank you.
Aura's vision is to expand the boundaries of how women issues are limited to certain acceptable topics. Now, I would like to call Mohtarma Akhila Parveen Sahiba, who is a Karkun of member of JIH Andhra Pradesh. She is a district in charge of Anantapur, and she actively participates in every activity of Jamaat-e-Islami Hind. She has completed her master's in English, and the article she'll be reviewing is the Prayers of Maryam alayhi salam's mother.
Thank you, Amma. First of all, I thank Almighty God for giving me this opportunity, and my Islamic greetings to all my respected sisters. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace be upon you and Almighty God's mercy and blessings. First of all, I begin with the name of Allah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious and most merciful. Alhamdulillah, I got the topic, the prayer of Maryam alayhi salam's mother. This topic start with a beautiful picture of a lady hands rising for the prayer towards Almighty, and the color of the sky with the stars says the time, nearly midnight, 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. midnight. This time, most of the prayers acceptance time, and with a beautiful prayer, praying for the grace and blessing of Almighty God for us and our offsprings. And it's mother's duty for upbringing offsprings in a better way they can. And so the prayer for a pleasant upbringing best way, the way as Maryam alayhi salam was blessed and entrusted to the best people and the best company. So when we come to the story, the prayer of Maryam alayhi salam's mother, enlightened by the Quran, Maryam alayhi salam, the Imran's wife, when she dreamed and set a vision for her offspring, and she is expecting a son. So, and she want him learning from righteous people so that he might share his understanding of God with others. And she vowed that she would devote her son's life serving the Almighty Allah. As she said in Surah Al Imran, chapter number 3, verse number 35, that remember when the wife of Imran said, "My Lord, I dedicate what is in my womb entirely to your service, so accept it from me. You alone are truly the all-hearing, all-knowing." So here she dedicated her womb to the service of the Almighty. And also she is expecting the baby boy, but she gave birth to a baby girl. And anyone at that point, at that moment, can step back to devote her daughter's life to serving the Almighty Allah. But here, her belief in Almighty God, and she trusted God's plan. Here, the author Heba Shakil beautifully narrated that part, the trust on the Almighty, how she believed the Maryam alayhi salam's mother on what she expected, that she will get a boy, that she can serve it, the Almighty Allah, she can give her son, but she got a baby girl. Then sometimes, actually, we also think and plan for our future and feel that it will be good for us, but it may not be good for us. And sometimes we think that some plans are not good for us, but they may be good for us. We don't know what is good and what is not good for us, but Almighty is all knowing with the greater wisdom and a greater plan that extends beyond our understanding and plans and our imaginations. That's the part here highlighted, that Maryam alayhi salam's mother's belief on Almighty, that her prayers will be acceptable better than she has asked for, that make her stand to fulfill what she was envisioned about her offspring. The gender doesn't differ for her. The gender difference doesn't make her stop to fulfill her dream for her child. And she said in Surah Al Imran, verse 36, when she delivered, she said, "My Lord, I have given birth to a girl." And Allah fully knew, Almighty knew what she had delivered. And the male is not like the female. I have named her Mary, peace be upon her, and I seek your protection for her and her offspring from Shaitan the accursed. When we observe the prayer of Maryam alayhi salam's mother, she prayed for her daughter Mary, peace be upon her, and also for the offspring, for her offsprings also. And that comes true, which is more than she asked for. And it was much bigger than what she prayed for. So Maryam alayhi salam's responsibility was entrusted to the Prophet Zakaria alayhi salam. He was a noble prophet of God, It's the best way of God to answer prayers of Maryam alayhi salam's mother. So after a few years, the story prolongs that later Maryam alayhi salam, peace be upon her, has developed into an even more devout woman. She also inspires Zakaria alayhi salam and instilled him in the belief that nothing is beyond God's reach. As in Surah Al Imran, chapter 3, verse 37, every time that Zakaria alayhi salam entered Maryam alayhi salam's chamber to see her, he found her supplied with sustenance. Zakaria alayhi salam said, "O Mary, peace be upon her, when you comes this to you? When comes this to you?" She said, "From Allah. Allah grants whom He wills in ways beyond comprehension." These words of Maryam alayhi salam inspired Zakaria alayhi salam to pray the God for a son despite his old age and his wife's inability to bear children. God fulfills Zakaria alayhi salam's prayers and grant him a son. So Maryam alayhi salam, peace be upon her, grieve under Allah's special protection, her sustenance, under which we may include both her physical needs and her spiritual food came from Allah, and her growth was indeed a goodly growth with purity and beauty. Maryam alayhi salam's mother's hope of having a righteous son transformed into giving birth to the most honorable woman in the history. The unbelievable bearing the tremendous honor of bringing Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, to the life without a father. The Prophet Jesus have an eternal influence on the world, peace be upon him. Almighty God empowering him in transforming society for the better by installing faith and kindness in people's heart. The colorful part of the page, the story page, is the lessons to learn from this story. Is very wonderful part. We must have faith in Almighty and must remain persistent in our prayers, must wait with patience, with expectations from Almighty God. Our prayers may be most answered immediately in the way as we want, but Almighty has much greater and more fulfilled plans for us. And we can see how strong in this story the prayers of Maryam alayhi salam's mother, how strong her prayers. And there must not be difference of a gender for a mother for her offspring. And mothers has to pray for their offsprings and also for grand offsprings also. This is also a lesson from the story to learn for us, that we have to pray for our offsprings, children, and also for the grandchildren. And I want to conclude my views with the words said by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, about a mother. Abu Hurairah reported that a man came to Allah's messenger, peace be upon him, and said, "Whom among the most is most deserving of fine treatment from my hand?" Then Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Your mother." He asked a second time, "Then who is the next one?" He said, "Again your mother. Who deserves the best treatment from you?" He asked a third time, "Who is the next one?" He, the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Again your mother." Again the man asked for the fourth time, "Then who?" Thereupon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Then your father." So here we came to know the mother's position is first three positions. The heaven, paradise is beneath the mother's feet, and to open the door of the heaven, father is the key. So here parents must be happy with the offspring's children, and children must take blessings from them parents, and they can enter the paradise soon. That's the thing here, mother's prayers are acceptable. So the parents must be happy with the kids, children, and the kids must be happy and love their parents and take care of their parents their mother, their father, and they has to satisfy their parents, and then they can enter the paradise. So this Heba Shakil has narrated this author beautifully the prayer of the mothers and how the mother pray for their offsprings. It's a beautiful thing which is narrated by Heba Shakil. And thank you for giving me this opportunity. Jazakallahu khairan kaseera. Good evening to everyone.
Jazakallahu khairan kaseera Baji. Thank you for sharing your opinions on the article. We plan something, but Allah Almighty plans the best. Allah Ta'ala says, whoever puts his trust in Allah, He will suffice him. With his trust, today the Aura e-magazine has reached to its height all over the country. Now, I would like to call Dr. Sister Candy Dukona, Assistant Professor of English at Andhrapradesh Institute of Engineering and Technology. She has done her MA, MPhil, and completed her PhD in literature. She has over 18 plus years of experience in teaching. She has published papers in 15 journals and 17 books. She will be reviewing the article Gendered Violence in India. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much for giving me this golden opportunity. So before I start up with my sharing, let me quickly congratulate the Aura magazine team, especially the editor and the editorial team. I know how difficult it is to bring out a magazine, as I am also an editor for a few magazines, and I also have written a few books. So I know the difficulty, especially coming to the language, coming to the correctness of a language and the message which we communicate to the world. So this magazine, Aura, focuses on various issues of women. And I feel very happy as a feminist because I have taken my specialization on women studies. And then a lot of topics I have explored on women, but from literature viewpoint. When I was closely reading this article, Gender Violence in India, Misconception and the Way Forward, written by Shaima S., I felt that it is an amazing article written very authentically and realistically. Amazing because it is very frankly and sincerely written. It is not easy to talk about violence, crime, and then sexual abuse or atrocities going on in the country against women, because as the writer has clearly mentioned in the magazine, that we need a lot of courage. Women need guts to open up to the reality. And when I saw the first line of the magazine of this particular article on page 56, I was so much taken up because the writer clearly puts that it is 10 years of the Delhi gang rape and murder case, which was pseudonym or in the inverted comma, she has put it as Nirbhaya. From that time, this particular term has come into existence. And then the writer goes on with her article describing that how different cases have evolved over a period of time. And then she tries to give her concern. It is a first person narrative article because the author directly says that when this incident happened, she was 18 years old. And she was also taking her studies in Jawaharlal Nehru University at Delhi. And when she was standing at the bus stop, she, this incident, she was able to picturize, she was able to visualize, she was able to put herself into the shoe of the victim, what all she might have undergone. And then she decided to take up women's studies. And then when she, went ahead with her women's studies, pursuing her studies, she also made a review and research of what kind of atrocities were existing in 1970s. And then she has mentioned about the Assami rights and about atrocities or atrocity taken place with 32-year-old Manipuri woman. And then many she starts capturing. And then she has also beautifully mentioned that a woman actually needs real guts and courage to open up. So many women may be undergoing this kind of troubles in their day-to-day life. And actually, there is no one to guide them, to counsel them maybe, or they don't find anybody to confide. That is what I was understanding when I read out this article very closely. As a literature student, I also got to my mind a beautiful textbook, which I am dealing right now with my students. This particular text is about Shakespeare's sister, Virginia Woolf. So in the light of this article, I would closely like to relate this text. I don't know how many of you are associated with literature, but I feel that women, those who write on these issues, and those who explore various subjects on women definitely would know Shakespeare. He was the greatest dramatist of 16th century. And Virginia Woolf, she is a 20th century writer. She clearly mentions, she pinpoints why only men were given freedom in 16th century and even 17th century, why women were asked only to carry out the household works, why there was only so much violence and crime taking place with the women. And she tries to imagine if Shakespeare has an imaginary sister, and this sister's name is Judith, what would happen to this sister? So this Judith would like to become exactly like a Shakespeare. So what she would do, her brother being a dramatist, her brother being a great orator and a writer, she would have stolen her brother's books and tried to read and tried to become like him. But in a course of time, her father would have discovered her, flogged her, and made her understand that you are not allowed to read and write. Your duty is only to bear children after your marriage. Your duty is only to take care of your household works. And then slowly he would have bought some beautiful ornaments and garments for her and got her married. So when Shakespeare's imaginary sister Judith got married, she would have definitely eloped on the very day of her marriage because she was not satisfied. She was not happy in getting married, but she wanted to become exactly like her brother. And what happens? She would have gone to the London theatre searching for a job. There, a London man would have impregnated her. And Virginia Woolf clearly mentions the man's name is Nick Green. So he impregnates her. And finally, being ashamed to face the world, she commits suicide. So when I was just closely reading up this particular article, which is about gender violence in India, misconceptions and the way forward, I felt that in 16th century also there were atrocities because Virginia Woolf, being a feminist writer, being so much for women, she also tries to tell about the suicide and the crime and violence which lady has to undergo because she did not have a room for herself. And at the end, Woolf mentions that every woman should have 500 pounds and a room of her own self. Like this particular article also sheds light on various issues which are pertaining or prevailing in the family. The writer has beautifully given at the end of the article, how do young boys treat the girls and women in their homes? How do young boys treat the girls and women in their homes? So first of all, are they given freedom? First of all, are they encouraged? First of all, are they allowed to speak? So first thing is the environment. As a psychologist, even I can talk about psychological problems at times when we don't have social situation, a good situation to voice out our feelings. So even that can be a reason at times to go astray, or at times just give up yourself into the hands of man, or just be fooled. Because all these situations, because some situations when we look into, maybe some are happened like a tragedy, but some situations are also out of love affair. Like a lady falls in love with a man, and then she cannot come out of that hurdle. And in course of time, he tries to, take it for granted. He tries to misuse her. She becomes a puppet, and ultimately she has to either end her life or he tries to end her life. So it can be any way around. So here the question which the author has asked at the end of the article is, how do young boys treat the girls and women in their homes? I think, my dear sisters, my dear friends, we need to really ask this question. Are we given a freedom? How these young boys are treated at home? Is there enough respect taught to the boys with regard to women? So first woman in the house is mother, sister. So these boys, young boys, are they taught those etiquettes to respect a woman? How do parents intervene when they see a sense of entitlement or hypermasculine tendencies within their own homes? So this is a second question which the writer has asked the audience to introspect, or the readers to introspect and see. How do parents, what is the role of a parent? Do they intervene? Do they try to explore their ideas? Do they try to bring up the children in the right direction? And then the third one, what behaviors are rewarded and what is called out as wrong? So parents, do they try to take a role of right and wrong? Now in this modern era, we are not in modern era, but post-modern era, do parents really have time to spend with their children? Because all the time we have gadgets, WhatsApp groups, we have a lot of, media. People are very busy on social media, but very seldom we see a good kind of, a family with strict rules and regulations, because we really do not know what children are doing. Because when I look at my students, when I look sometimes in the class, I feel sometimes very bad, because as long as they are under my eyes, I try to, tell them that they should not misuse their mobiles, or they should not unnecessarily make calls. Some do's and don'ts we can tell as a teacher, or we can meld them and mold them. But when they go out of the college campus, what happens? So family is a situation where parents need to take care of children, especially young boys. This seed of respect should be planted right from the beginning. It is not all of a sudden a boy will get, or those young boys will get that kind of, or develop that kind of respect towards women, but it is a gradual process. How a man starts respecting women is a process. First of all, it starts within the family. So that's why I really appreciate this author of this article. She has wonderfully mentioned that what behaviors are rewarded and what is called out wrong. In the past, we see it was a very traditional family. Though it was a patriarchal dominant family, it was a very traditional family. All of us were brought up very traditionally. But gradually, as we are buzzing into this mobile age, this age of digitalization, this technocrat age, we have forgotten actually a sense of respect. All kinds of dirty movies, or phonographic videos and clips are watched by these young boys, and they try to practice it. They try to become the real heroes of their life by trying to practice it on some women, and as a result, women become victim of these crimes or atrocities which are taking place in and around. And then again, a writer has said towards the end of this article, do we have ways to oppose and put an end to the increasing moral degradation in the society, including the mindless romanticization of violence? So she tries to put her concern by asking all the readers, and not only the readers, all those who will take this article and discuss it with their colleagues, take it to the different parts of the world, that what is our role? What is my role? Now, when I try to look at this article, what is my role? Of course, this topic is a very, very delicate topic. We cannot directly, we cannot pinpoint, or directly we cannot speak so many things, because there are a few things which people confide in us. We try to guide as a psychologist, we try to help them. But there are people, now those who are in our reach can be helped, but there are people, those who are really voicing out their feelings, but there is no one to guide them and lead them. So I would suggest to take this kind of articles internationally. And then in Vijayawada, we also have a SAFE team. The SAFE team also tries to take care of certain crimes and certain violation and certain, things taking place with women. If we try to, bring to their notice, they will definitely take care of these kind of things if we have somebody who confide in us about these kind of atrocities. So my heartfelt congratulations to the writer. She has also, at the end, she has mentioned, let us introspect as we parallelly work on the larger legal and structural solution to gender violence instead of dividing the two aspects. So first of all, we should understand that a man and woman, we are all darlings of creation. So without a man or without a woman, there is no creation. We have to accept that reality. But at the same time, the beauty of creation comes with a clear-cut respect for each other. If we respect each other, no matter in what position we are, how we are, what we are, I think gradually there will be a change taking place on this face of the earth. In fact, man has to self-realize. We need to spread the vibrations of self-realization through this kind of meetings, this kind of writings, this kind of awareness programs, and then let many people combine together, join together, and voice out, so that ultimately this world becomes a happy place. And then one more theme, when I was just going through, just popped up in my mind. There is something called ecofeminism. Now that comes with regard to environment. That will be a different topic, but it is also connected over here where women feel that they are dominated with a patriarchal, kind of a domination. So patriarchal domination we can see in the different ways. One is violence, one is crime, one is having domination over the earth, androcentrism, anthropocentrism, individualism. So these are all the theories which are, sprung out from this particular topic of feminism and ecofeminism. So once again, hats off to the writer, to the author. She has very beautifully mentioned each and every aspect of this particular article, because it is not easy to write on gender violence. And I wish her all the very best as she pursues her studies on women, that may she write many more articles, giving courage and strength to women, especially young women writers. And I also wish that this magazine should have ISBN number. I do not know whether this magazine has ISBN number, ISSN number, and it should be internationally realized, so that, all the educationalists, people those are from educational background, also can come together, give their ideas and views, and this indeed can become a great sharing. So I thank the Aura team and for giving me this golden opportunity to share my few views on this topic, though it is a very, very challenging topic. I have spoken from my viewpoint, but the writer has, plunged into the deep. She has explored so many situations from many parts of the world. And this particular article is perfectly written. We can just imagine each case. And rather than this way, I feel that there should be a solid discussion where many kind of people, like, somebody from civil and somebody from different backgrounds can also sit together along with the women team and introspect, so that it becomes a greater sharing and it becomes a reality wherein there can be a change in the days to come. Thank you so much for this golden opportunity.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for taking your precious time for the review. And thank you for sharing your deep, strong views on women, upbringing, family, and the reality of students nowadays. Aura e-magazine is a platform which brings the best of women's writing to our screens in the hope of carving out a space for those voices that have been historically underrepresented or silenced. Now, I would like to call PB Lavanya Garu, Assistant Professor at Andhrapradesh College of Engineering and Technology. She has mastered in business administration and had done MHRM from Acharya Nagarjuna University. And she is pursuing her PhD in Department of Commerce and Business Administration. She has over 10 years of experience in teaching, and she has published in 13 journals. She also attended 7 national conferences and 11 international conferences. She will be reviewing the article Do our surroundings influence our habits? P.B. Lavanya Garu.
Good evening, all. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity given. And at the outset, I would like to give my note on the review of article, Do Our Surroundings Influence Our Habits? And this article was written by Samreen Fatma. And I would like to give a key note on the points that she has elaborated. The main point for us is to understand, do our habits influence our behavior? And her note point was illustrative, and the examples that she quoted are real life. And she wanted to take the example of understanding, will others influence our behavior, or are we influencing our own behavior, whether it in positive way or in a negative way? So the example that she has taken is when we go to a restaurant continuously, and when we are going to take a kind of a food, and the waiter, once they are serving for a day or two, they continuously start giving the same kind of a dish or maybe the order without asking us. Then what are we doing? That is what is her viewpoint. How we set our habits was the viewpoint that she wanted to give. And the main parameter on the basis of which she wanted to give was the learning that we are going to do in grooming our personality. So a habit, according to her, as a programming of her mind, a conscious decision making and repetition of the activity. Whether do we do it in a positive sense or do we do it in a negative sense? So she says, when you're conditioning your mind in a direction which is going to grow your personality to be a positive individual, then you will be the more successful one. And she has given some of the illustrations of the good habits which makes our personality to be very effective in the sense of dressing up, reading, and organized planning. And to just give her a note on what she has reflected and in the article, her concentration on the article was to the point. She was very clear on what she wanted to communicate. The illustrations that she has given was quite practical, and they were to the point of where we understand the difference between what is going to be a good habit and what is going to be a habit which is going to ruin us. And in the process of cultivating a habit and shifting our present habit or a old habit to a new habit, how much an individual need to transform themselves. So that is where that entire article was focusing on. Assuming a scenario, she has illustrated where a habit of consuming a coffee, which is going to have a caffeine content, from there shifting herself to drinking a coconut water, which is going to be more healthy and is going to create a good atmosphere her. How much transformation that she has to take care of herself in her inner mind. How many number of times she has to instruct herself, saying that this is a healthy habit, this is a good habit, and I need to change myself for my better thing. So a kind of a continuous repetition of the habit to transform from an old set of habits to the new set of habits, how much struggle as a human being that we need to make. That was the point that she wanted to make in the article, and she was quite good enough to give her illustration, and it was justifiable. And she suggested even the points where we can transform. And one question which she has asked, which made me to think twice before I could say anything, is that, will others influence you or will you yourself influence yours? So that is a question which she was pondering around. So as an individual, generally we tend to say that it is external environmental factors which influence our behavior. Generally, we say that because of those people, because of that circumstances, because of that situation, or because of that kind of a scenario, we behave like this, or we are behaving in this manner. That is how we start saying, or just for giving the hands to the external environmental factors. But she points out that it is your cognitive process which makes you to understand this. She says it is our inner self, it is our own mind, which says what we are, what we want to be, and how do we behave. Our habits are the sense of our own inner habits, and we blame the external environment for that, which we cannot do. Simply we put the situation surrounding us in an unfavorable condition, and later we blame ourselves saying that the surroundings are not favorable to me. Where I just got an example where I wanted to share with you also. Generally, being a woman, because this is a magazine which is meant purely for the women, so I would like to take the example which we are in our lifetime. Generally, we take it for granted that we give our lives into the man's hands. And later we say that man is taking control on our lives. No, it's not the man who's taking control on lives. It is we as women, we are submitting ourselves to the men, saying that they are great, they are superheroes, and they are extraordinary people where we need to listen to them. That is where. But from where that point is coming, it is our own inner self. It is our own cognitive process, which is saying that, yes, women, we are dependent. Yes, women, we are less fortunate. Yes, women, we cannot do. Yes, women, we are not meant for these type of jobs. Yes, women, we cannot do a kind of a position or a job where the men can do. So it's our own stigma where we are keeping ourselves, we are stopping ourselves. And after some time, when we are not left with anything that we wanted or which we dreamt of, or where we wanted to see ourselves, later we pinpoint and say someone that it is because of that, it is because of those people, it is because of that context this has happened. So please, it is the author was very clear in saying that it is we who need to change our habits. It is we who need to think positively. It is we who need to cultivate ourselves inner strong cognitive memory, so that our social relationships will be stronger. So it's completely dependent on our own learnings. How do we learn? If we learn that we are strong, if we learn that we are capable, if we learn that we are organized, if we learn that we can be the leaders, if we can learn that we can take this world a better place, then yes, we can do it. Because as it said, because I'm from a management stream, I would like to say that generally women are better administrators than men. This is what we say in management. The reason is very simple. We are by nature God's given multitaskers. But we put ourselves down saying that nothing is in our hands. So it is our own research process which we need to think for ourselves, introspect for ourselves, reflect upon ourselves of how we are and how we want it to be. And the author was very, very clear in stating the viewpoint that it is not our surroundings which is influencing, but it is we who are influencing the surroundings. So that is very much appropriate to the topic title that she has taken. Do our surroundings influence our habits? And her conclusion to that was, no, it is not. It is our habits which are influencing our surroundings. And that article that she has quoted was very much illustrative. And the examples that she has taken us to the point and to the present scenario. And apart from that, to the conclusion, she has given the famous quotation of Dr. Abdul Kalam ji, you cannot change your future, but you can change your habits. And surely your habits will change your future, which was very much impressive. The way that she has started was with an example. And the way that she has conducted up her article was with a famous quotation of how habits will influence our own future. And I would like to greet the article writer for her great efforts that she has put in to make the people understand, particularly the women, to understand how they need to groom their habits and how to groom their personality, so that they can become as much better individuals and they can achieve their dreams. And just to quote as a last, because I'm just from the management stream, I would like to quote six of the famous habits that as a women leaders, we can enhance ourselves, because you are coming out with a magazine, and in a magazine, there will be a number of readers, and we do not want women to be the followers, but we want the women to be the leaders. So from the famous quotes of Dr. Betty, I would like to give the 6 habits of women leaders who could become successful. First, be persistent with what you wanted to do. Do not be deviated with the external pressures whatsoever may happen. Lead by examples. Be the role model for others. Don't let someone be the role model for you. It is you who should be the role model to others. Don't go it alone. Don't take the trouble that everything has to be done by me alone. No, there are people. You can delegate them the responsibilities. You can delegate them the authority. Let people also do the work. It's not only the women's job, it is everyone's job. That is how you need to create, particularly for the household responsibilities, for taking care of the kids, or for maybe other departmental or administrative works. Let other people do. Delegate the authority and responsibility. And yes, over communicate. Communicate as a repetition, as the researcher was also writing out in the article. Repetition. Continuously tell yourself that I am strong, I am confident, I can do, I am capable. So over communicate with yourself with the positive habits, whatever you have instilled for yourself. And listen actively. Open your ears, see surroundings, listen to each and every minute. From there you can learn and improve yourself. And practice comes. As a women, we are powerful. And that powerfulness, you can ignite yourself when you are calm, when you are cool. Automatically, the inner power within us will come out, and we can flourish, and we can be creating a better place for our generation, for the generations to come. Thank you for the article writer that she has put in a very, very effective way the habits which transform the individuals. And I would like to thank even the Aura e-magazine team for taking out initiative and pain in upbringing this kind of a magazine. And thank you very much to one and all for listening to my conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your valuable views on the article and advices and tips. Thank you very much, ma'am. Change is within ourselves. It is my immense pleasure. Next is an expert who is very humble, kind, and caring persona, and inspiration to all of us, me particularly. It is my immense pleasure and gratitude to call Srimati Uppalapati Susila Garu, an assistant professor in botany, head of the botany department at Sri Durga Malleshwara Siddhartha Mahila Kalasala. She has done her master's and MPhil in botany, and she has over 24 years of experience in teaching, and she will be reviewing the article Bhopal gas disaster. Thank you. Over you to
Yes, Umayma. Thank you. May I share my screen?
Yes. I can see your screen, ma'am.
Can you see my screen? Okay.
Your voice is very low, ma'am.
I'll increase volume. Now, Umayma, is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. But there's some background disturbance.
Okay, I'll check that. Few seconds, please. Few seconds.
Okay, ma'am.
Few seconds. I don't know why it is there. I'm unable to start the first slide.
Ma'am, you can start the review, ma'am.
Okay. I will start. So, good evening to all members of this group. First of all, I congratulate Team ARA for organizing a program that involved women from different backgrounds and different age groups. So, I am Susila from Botany Department, Sri Durga Malleswar Siddhartha Mahila Kala Sangha. And I also work as a convener for Eco Club. That's why I have chosen my topic, Bhopal Gas Disaster 84, Women's Narratives, Survivors' Voices, and Corporate Responsibility. And this belongs to category The World of Politics and author Ara Staff. So, in this article, authors discussed intensity of the disaster, how severely it influenced the people and their lives, and number of people exposed to methyl isocyanate gas from Union Carbide plant, and number of deaths, and generations traumatized and permanently disabled, and also discussed lapses in reporting the deaths. According to some, only 10,000 deaths were reported, but actually it is more than 20,000. And this varies according to government sources, surveys conducted, and journalists are contradictory. These were the aspects, some of the aspects discussed by the authors. And also discussed pathetic testimonials of women sufferers during and after tragedy were elaborate, and how Bhopal gas tragedy, the name itself sends chills through the spine. Its memory still gives shivering to women. Warren Anderson, an irresponsible chairman and CEO, evaded responsibility, was also recalled by the author. Now, my insights of the tragedy. What happened on the fateful day? On the night of December 2nd, 1984, chemical methyl isocyanate leaked out from Union Carbide India Limited, pesticide factory, turned the city of Bhopal into a colossal gas chamber. It was India's first major industrial disaster. At least 30 tons of methyl isocyanate gas killed more than 15,000 people and affected over 6 lakh workers. Bhopal gas tragedy is known as the world's worst industrial disaster. What went wrong on that fateful day? Number one, location of the factory. Usually, industrial setups are far away from the residential areas. It was located in the midst of densely populated area that causes extremely high number of casualties. There are clear guidelines that no rehabilitation is allowed near the premises. But some people were rehabilitated in that area. Still, how was it possible that factory stood in the midst of the densely populated place? At the time of factory setup, it was in the remote area. But like any other industry. But over the years, people start living nearby because it made easy to both parties to commute between factory and home. So it is very clear that business ethics were at the heart for the sake of convenience. for the both industry people and also for the workers. Now, what went wrong on the December 2nd and 3rd night? It started, leakage started at the late hours of 2nd and early hours of the 3rd night. So, next, safety measures were ignored. Several cases of same kind of gas leak but at much smaller scale were reported earlier. They neglected it, they overlooked it. No precautions were taken. Company officials knew about it and did nothing on the pretext of cost cutting at the expense of the other lives. So, alarm bells were not audible outside the factory compound. Clearly, safety measures were inadequate and compromised. Now, rules and another aspect which led to this disaster, rules and regulations. There are no tough laws and punishments for the culprits. It leads to the safety lapses, to disaster waiting to happen. After the lengthy trail of 25 years, Indian courts convicted 8 people for 2 years of imprisonment, that too was bailable. So there were surely loops in legal aspects and political loopholes in legal as well as political aspects. Culprits soon after got bails. They are free to roam in the society after the mass murder without any consequences. What went later? What went wrong later? Since the tragedy, we have not much listened about. Non-executive chairman of UCL at the time of tragedy is a person from India only. With all the power and money, he was able to distance himself from all the controversy. Today, he sits on the boards of several reputed companies in India. And what went wrong on and after December 3rd? Next, the last point is disaster management. They failed in this aspect also. Government and hospitals were not able to cope with this massive disaster. There were no disaster management plans. Everybody was in the dark on how to handle the situation. Legal loopholes. Let us go to the legal loopholes. One of the major problems in industrial safety laws is that they are not strong enough. Industries in India never follow the safety protocols unless they are forced to, and that too till an official inspection. There must be strong rules and regulations and enforcement of them without any compromise. Make them punishable and put hefty penalty on breaking of law. Corporate lobbying should be discouraged. And loophole in policies, government policies. Government should be transparent enough in its on its policies and about implementing them. As the government role is also dubious in this tragedy, this happened. So there must be something in process to keep the government in check. Government is also liable for suffering of people due to these disasters. Now, liability is also an important issue. Nobody are there to take the responsibility. As after the disaster, nobody wants to take the responsibility and ready to wash their hands. People suffer more as nobody wants to compensate them. According to Pillai, an industrial safety expert, both the process and the product should be covered under liability clause. So this is one of the major loophole. But unfortunately, because of which they evaded, Union Carbide people evaded. But unfortunately, what happens in our country is the management bargains, the insurance compromises, and ultimately liability is compromised. This should be stopped. From December 2nd, 1984 to till date, Bhopal continues to fight for justice, which seems increasingly difficult to get as time dulls the memory of the terrible disaster. So It is a long way to go. Till then, we can only pray for no more suffering. I thank you for Aura team giving me this opportunity. So here I would like to add one more point. Here, God has given impartially time, sunlight, natural resources to like water, air, sunlight, distributed equally among all the individuals. But some greedy people are exploiting them indiscriminately, because of which some other people are to suffer. So that's why I have chosen this topic. Thank you very much, Ara team. Thank you, Umaima, for including me in this webinar.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for giving your valuable time to us. We have given a brief yet detailed review of the article. Thank you very much, ma'am. Next, I would like to invite Srimati K. Sati, ma'am, Assistant Professor in English at Siddhartha Mahila Kalasala. She has done MA, MPhil, PGDTE, PGDFE, and she has 27 years of experience. She has 7 paper publications, and she attended 20 national seminars and 5 international seminars. And she has also acted as external and internal adjudicator for various competitions. She will be reviewing the article, The Last Letter. Sasi, ma'am.
Good evening, everybody. Am I audible?
Next slide.
Am I audible? Umaima, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible, ma'am.
Okay, I too want to share a screen. I would like to share now. First, I would like to introduce myself. That is, I am English faculty in Siddhartha Mahila Kalasala, Vijayawada. And now I am reviewing the article, The Last Letter, which is written by Musfira Ruman. And I would like to share the screen. Please.
Ma'am, you're already a co-host. You can share the screen.
Shall I share it?
Yes, ma'am, you can share it.
Okay. So here I am sharing this, the original of this particular story. Here I want to share because Arya feels the abuse has had knock-on effects, particularly with trust in relationships. She also struggles to close the chapter in her life because the abuser had never admitted the crime or said sorry. Remember to teach your children something about sex education. So this is the highlighting point which I wanted to talk later on. First, I would like to tell that this particular, the last letter, this article or story or a letter, whatever maybe it is about child abuse. The story is in a letter form and it portrays the character of 8-year-old Arya, who suffers from different forms of child abuses. It is a brooding and pathetic situation where she feels helpless as parents scolded her for her failure in math semester exam. It is about parental failure in understanding the child. Arya is inexpressive and fear drove her to leave the house. So this is the review which I would like to extend up to, that is quote some of the phrases, some of the lines from the story itself, where we can find the child abuse, how she is being abused by her uncle. And she undergoes sexual, physical, psychological, emotional abuses. And this little Arya, she says in the particular story, I'm sorry for not being the perfect daughter you deserve. I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry for failing the math exam. But trust me, I tried my best to write this exam properly, but I couldn't. I'm sorry for the biggest sin I committed a few days ago. So here Arya is feeling that she couldn't satisfy her parents. Here, satisfying parents. So here I also have a question. Are parents after marks? And is it a big sin she committed? Failing in maths exam is not a big sin. And parents, here I also already told you in the first, say, the part of my review itself, it is parents who scolded her for the failure in maths exam, and it also a parental failure in understanding the child. The child couldn't write the maths exam very well because something has happened. And the parents are very, very, say, strict in getting marks, rather than they are not concerned about the psychological behavior or how she is responding to when she has been scolded. So Arya feels she couldn't satisfy her parents. Why? Because she could not get or gain more marks in maths exam. So what is the reason why she could not write the exam properly? Since last evening, as you already hate me after my results, see, already hate. That is, the parents are very strict parents, I hope so. And they are angry, and they are not able to listen to the girl, what she is expressing. And they are not trying to find out what is the reason. And she tells, I decided to tell you about this, dear daddy. I tried my best to stop him. I tried to run away, but I failed. I am a failure. So here, while writing the letter, she expresses that confirmedly that she is a failure. She herself thinks she is an inexpressive child. She is like an introvert. Of course, an 8-year girl, what maturity she has to express or not to express. And it is all about the bringing up of the child and the care what the parents take. So I think it is not her failure, but it is the failure of the parents. And she confirms herself as a failure because she couldn't satisfy her parents, and parents are also annoyed. And I would like to tell that, yes, her parents, Arya's parents, are after grades and marks. And we can also consider that marks are not the yardstick to measure the perfection. After all, in this world, nobody is perfect. Is she a failure really? A question. She left the house, maybe that may be the failure, but not failing in her mathematics or failing to express herself to her parents. These two are her failures, but not that is a failure in maths exam. The little Arya, she confirms herself as a failure because she couldn't satisfy parents. And here we can see this picture. I want to talk about the psychology of the child, how to bring up a child, how to be with a child, and parents are the friends, parents are the parents, mother and father. And of course, we can tell mother is the most friendliest person to the child. And she also should take the responsibility of this failure. Your child's mental health is more important than their grades. Let them be little, let them be creative, let them play often. In short, let them be children. So of course, 8 years, Arya, how far she can think more like an adult? So that is also a question. And there is another line telling, and if I speak about it, he will do this to Fatty as well. See here, Arya has a younger sister. Her name itself is Fatty. Fatty, all of us know, it is an abuse word, which say we call say chubby people, chubby children, a fatty. It is like mocking them, so bullying them. So the name itself is now abusive. And here she tells her, I'm sorry for this. All I could do is leave this place. All she could do is only leave the place. And before leaving, she just wanted to tell about the truth of Uncle Roshan. That is, Uncle Roshan, he remains in the house, and the parents leave him in the house. Maybe he is a relative, or maybe a neighbor, whoever maybe it is. The girl is affected. He touches her inappropriately when the parents leave her leave her in the house, and Roshan, Uncle Roshan, is also left there. And the mother also tries to tell that take the help of Uncle Roshan in solving the problems, doing the maths. So here, Uncle Roshan, he takes that privacy then, and the little one is sleeping. The fat younger sister Fatty, she was sleeping in another room, where Uncle Roshan takes advantage of the situation. Nobody is there in the house. So here we can say parents should not trust anybody. This is also a problem of trust. Trusting others. We should parents should trust only their children, and their children trust the parents. And trusting others and leaving the children may be a problem for them, and it is also studied in many statistical data, and by UNO and many other feminist groups. And statistically, they found that 91% of the child abuses or rapes or whatever may be the atrocities which are happening to the woman, girl, child, all these are happening only with the known people, but not unknown people, strangers. Here Roshan is also uncle, very familiar to the family, and nobody doubts him. So he thought that he can do that to the girl. And as soon as the girl tries to hear the voice of father, and father calls her Arya, and then what happens? Uncle Roshan tries to close the mouth of the girl, and he holds him tight and slaps her. So here there is physical abuse, there is emotional abuse, there is sexual abuse. So this particular story portrays Arya's suffering, that is how children are being abused. Emotionally they are abused, physically they are abused, sexually they are abused, and emotionally they are abused. He blackmails. See, before, I just want you to know that I love you both the most. I also want to tell you to keep Fatty away from Uncle Roshan. Why? And if I speak about it, he will do this to Fatty as well. He blackmails her emotionally, telling that I will do, if you open your mouth and tell to your parents, I will do same thing to Fatty also, who is a very young child, maybe 3 years or 4 years old. And then next day morning, she writes a letter and keeps it in the envelope, and she hands it over to the parents. And while going to school, again parents send her with Uncle Roshan only. And she tries in all ways to be far from him, that is sitting back of the car, not in the front. And she tries to go away, leave the car as soon as the school comes. But again there, after leaving her there at the school, he again emotionally blackmails her, telling that if you open your mouth, I'm going to do the same thing to Fatty also. And that is why she decides herself to leave the home, but she couldn't express why, because parents may not trust her. She has a doubt. She has a doubt that parents may not listen to her. She has no trust. So here, trust is vital for internal harmony and positive social functioning, and the ability to effectively trust others helps people live happy and rich lives. Trust
Sorry for the disturbance, ma'am. Can you conclude the view?
Okay. So we have to trust, and creating trust can be done only by mother, and mother is the best psychologist who can understand the child. And she must have alarmed her parents prior to writing the letter, telling that she is undergoing some traumatic feelings because of this person. And raising children, the best way is to raise positive in a negative world, and is to have positive parents and who love them unconditionally and serve as excellent role models. So your children need your presence more than your presence. Parents are the ultimate role models, and I hope the mother and the father should admit themselves that they have lost the child because of their own mistake, leaving her alone with Uncle Roshan before the day of the maths exam. So honest admission will serve as a bedrock for all the endeavors to re-establish trust in others. So I hope my review is on the psychological effects of the child, and also the parents who are very, very strict. So I suggest the parents should be very friendly, and they must be very close, so that they are not children doesn't hide anything from them, and they open up in order to avoid such things. So here I am, Umaima.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is my review regarding that particular story, the last letter. And
thank you very much,
it was a well-built story.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for putting your
and thank you, Ara team, for giving me this great opportunity to come out and review the story. Okay.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank
now,
you.
I would like to call Shabina Sheikh, a teacher and who has worked in Nalanda School, Vijayawada. She will be reviewing the article, The Errand of Mercy. Shabina Sheikh. Mohtharma Shabina Sheikh.
I think call mein nahi hai. There's nobody on the call. Please continue.
Okay.
She's there. Wait a second. Zoom user, I think.
Zoom user. Yeah.
But anybody can unmute. You can start.
Okay. Hello. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So, alaikum everyone and good evening everyone. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today I'm going to share my reviews on errand of mercy. Errand of mercy. So I have gone through this article, which is an errand of mercy, which is nicely written and explained by the author Arfia Saad Said Shakib. So I have gone and some more articles also. Today in this session, I want to share my reviews and ideas about mercy. And I want to start this session with a small hadith which is from Sahih Bukhari. No mercy will be shown to those who show no mercy. No forgiveness will be given to those who cannot forgive others. Which means no mercy will be shown by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on that person who will not show mercy and forgiveness on others. Mercy, which is likely similar to kindness. And mercy includes our main two components. They are empathy and sympathy. I think the lacking of these two will not lead to accomplish mercy and kindness. And I think so, as well as it plays an important role in some aspects of life. Mercy, but in today's world, mercy and kindness towards each other is fleeting away from our lives. Nearly, we are almost losing. I think so. Mercy and kindness is very, very important in our lives. Mercy which cannot be bought or sold from someone or anyone. I think it can only be found in ourselves. And especially when we are trying to, when we are trying to stick to our moral values. We should have to stick to our moral values, first of all. And one more thing, mercy is not entitled to rich or poor, and neither it belongs to educated or uneducated, but instead it is entirely based on our values and virtues towards God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and towards each other. Like in this world, every person is having some deep rooted values, but where which were built by himself. Every person has his values, deep-rooted values, which were built by himself and or maybe some society or from the family. Those values. So these deep-rooted values will establish as how far the mercy can play the role in our lives. Sometimes kindness can be seen in a educated or uneducated, or rich or poor people. Mercy and kindness can be acquired at any time, when we are true to, first of all, when we are true to our values, ourselves, and our, as well as God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes what happens, we came to see sometimes, hello, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. Sometimes what happens, an uneducated or poor or ill-mannered people show kindness on others. Some examples are there which has been passed on. Then think, if they are coming forward to show kindness and mercy on others, why can't, then I think, why is it so difficult for us to act upon it? This clearly means education not have to do anything with this act of kindness, education. But in today's world, we care about is materialist things. We are so addicted to so many things in this world. Materialistic things that will bring us some temporary pleasures, happiness. We are all are got involved in that. Our lives have become so busy, and for once I want all of us to take a moment and let's think the importance of kindness and mercy. I'm not quoting anyone in this world, nor I'm criticizing someone. I'm just talking about some people who are in lack of this act. That's all. Let's all look at the. Why can't we? Let's all look at the last time. When was it? We were kind to the people and tried to help them, or let alone to ourselves. In the same way, in our society, we are surrounded by so many people in this world who are so kind, gentle, and merciful. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. But today, I just want to share my ideology on how can we try to execute those acts of kindness in our lives. I think that we may need a small baby steps towards these acts, which will help us to be kind and merciful, and moreover to improve our moral values. It is very important, you know. Let's check ourselves. Are we kind and gentle to others? Firstly, we can start off by showing kindness and mercy to ourselves only, so that it may be easy. Like one example is to maybe slow down and not to so hurry and rush into these worldly affairs, and just think a little bit. We all should take a moment up and appreciate ourselves that we have come this far in this world. That's only because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy. Alhamdulillah. We should remind ourselves and have a check about Allah's mercy in order to indulge in the act of mercy and towards ourselves. And then secondly, on the other hand, I think mercy and kindness towards others is something very different and difficult to do. And I think this is not everyone's cup of tea. As we think it's a choti si baat hai, help karna choti si baat hai. It's a little just a small effort. We can't neglect, we can't think like that. On the other hand, I think mercy and kindness is difficult, and I think this is not everyone's cup of tea, you know. Like I said earlier about empathy and sympathy. Now they come in a role. If you are sympathetic enough to sit and talk to someone when they are in need of us, then we will be going little step closer to the act of mercy. And if we are empathetic enough to stand in someone's side and help them in righteous way, then we will accomplish another step towards kindness. We'll start this act on ourselves, and then let's start with our family. We can still instill empathy and sympathy in our own family, like supporting them, helping them in a righteous way, especially during the hardships. When they are in a problem, they are in a something. Instead of mocking them, trying to understand them and be kind to them and solve the problem. Give a hand to them. And thirdly, according to my knowledge of mercy, let me take a little more closer on how the kindness be shown upon to other people who are not our family, who are totally like a strangers to us. But it can be a very difficult to stand in someone's shoes, especially when we are not aware of that person or that situation. Think that when you are, but just to think, just you stand and think a little for a little moment that it is being tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's testing you, whether you are moving forward or not. Trying hard to stand for someone whom you are barely know and helping them is an ultimatum of mercy. And lastly, one more important thing is that act of kindness can be taken as advantage by the person whom we are going to help. Please note this point. If it is not shown to a right person or at a right time, it may be cause a little harm to us. There is a thin line regarding to kindness. It should be keenly observed before acting upon it. Acting blindly because we have to help, we are too kind. No, this may be cause a harm to us, but in harm to us in today's world, So please let's try to understand the person, the situation, and the time to whom we are going to help. But in this act of mercy and kindness, sometimes we can be only
I
givers, but
apologize
not
for the disturbance, ma'am. Can you conclude?
Hello?
Can
Hello?
you conclude?
Hello?
Hello?
I'm audible?
Yes, you're audible. Can you
Yeah,
conclude this?
So blindly acting upon the things that we are too kind, we want to help someone, we want to do this help for them, maybe cause some harm to us in today's world. Let us just, before helping or giving a hand to them, just think a little bit. Is this a right time? Is this a right situation? So please, let's try to understand the person and the situation to whom we are going to help. In this act of mercy and kindness, sometimes we can be only the givers, but not the receivers. We should do and help and show the mercy on the people without expectation. We should remember that mercy and kindness can only be shown without any expectation. Helping someone for righteous thing is in our hands only. But hoping the same thing for ourselves is not a right way. Hoping that that person is going to give us something back to us is not a right thing. This may lead to a dissatisfaction. If we are going to help that person, means also do a kindness, do a help, means we feel a little bit of dissatisfaction. We won't be a satisfied person. So ladies, let's all think about this, and inshallah we will try to be the givers of mercy and be more kind and merciful. Let's pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask him for forgiveness and mercifulness. I want to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the ladies and the organizers of Aura magazine who has given me this opportunity to share my reviews with all of you. And I want to congratulate and appreciate the organizers and the team of this magazine, which is so useful for women in these days. I'm really thankful to them. Why? Because as I have gone through some articles in this book, I got so much information and the knowledge which I and we can apply in our daily life. So let's congratulate to them. Jazakallahu khairan kasira. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallahu khairan kaseera, ma'am. Thank you very much for your valuable views on the article. Now, we have complete. I thank all the experts for reviewing the articles. Thank you very much all. And Alhamdulillah, we have completed the review session. For the presidential address, now I would like to invite Mohtarma Samina Afshin Sahiba, who is the editor of Aura e-magazine from Mangalore, Karnataka. She is also a linguist, multilinguist. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, all of you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace, mercy, may the peace and mercy of the Almighty be on all of you. It was such a wonderful, such a beautiful, such a knowledgeable and enriching session today. Thank you so much, Sister Reshma Sultana and team of Andhrapradesh for organizing such an event, such a beautiful event with such reviewers, such experts in the panel. The program is beautifully convened by Sister Umaima. Thank you so much, Umaima. And thank you all the reviewers, all the experts here who took time to read our articles in Aura and give a feedback, such beautiful feedback. I thank each one of you, Dr. Arifa Begum, Srimati C.H. Nalini, Shamim Sahiba, Akila Parveen Sahiba, Dr. Sister Candy Tikuna, P.B. Lavanya, Srimati Susila, Srimati K. Sasi Ma'am, Sabina Sheikh. All of you have wonderfully reviewed our articles and given very, very enriching feedback. It was an enriching session. So we at Aura, every month we look forward for this session. We look forward for the part of this month wherein we have this Aura Readers Club every month. It is organized in different states of India, wherein experts come in and give in their opinions so that we can take things, we can take the opinions, we can do the necessary corrections, what we have to do. The feedback is so enriching. So we always look forward to this session, to the part of this month wherein this kind of program is organized by Team Aura, because we at Aura, we strive to achieve excellence. We strive to achieve success, and for a magazine to achieve success, a sincere review of what they publish is a necessity. So the feedback that comes from you, the sincere feedback that comes from the experts, are something which we look forward to every month. So thank you once again, all the reviewers. We have noted all that you have told us. We have noted all your opinions. As you all know, Aura is a monthly women's magazine. It's published by Muslim women. And although I'm adding this word, although it is published by Muslim women, our contributors and our readers are men and women from all religions and all communities. So it is run by Muslim women, and the platform is given to all types of contributors to put in their opinions, write articles. So we have these contributors and readers from all people in the society. It's a voice of all women in society, all women in particular, and an entire society as a whole, because it focuses in bringing up topics that enlightens people, topics that strive to do betterment in society, strive to uplift the situation in the society. So reviving feminine strength, this is the tagline of Aura. You must have seen that. Okay. The notion in society, people keep telling women that you either be suppressed or be like men. So these are the advice given usually. But reviving feminine strength, understanding the real feminine strength, understanding the feminine uniqueness, that is what Aura is doing. That is what Aura is putting forward. That is what Aura is teaching people, that women are unique in their features, unique in their strength, and without compromising with their uniqueness, without compromising with their uniqueness, keeping their femininity, they can do so much to the society. They can come forward and contribute so much to the society. They can be in the mainstream. That is what Aura is teaching. So Aura is a platform to express the voices, to express it represents the voice of the women all over India and maybe internationally, inshallah. Aura keenly plans, as you know, you must have read the articles. We have a particular theme for every month. It keenly plans the theme. Team Aura sits together and with a lot of discussion, after so much of discussion and opinions, the topics are selected, the theme is selected, there are many articles regarding the theme, and there are so many other things also you must have seen, and you must have read that, and you have seen different permanent columns are there, the legal desk is there, the explainers are there, children's corner is there, media watch is there. So other than the particular theme of the month, so many other topics are also discussed. So keenly the topics are selected. Our contributors also are our great strength. They are our great strength because they stand with us in our mission of ours, and without anything, without expecting anything back. So our contributors are our strength, our readers are our strength, our reviewers are our strength, the expert opinions give strength to us. So I invite all of you today to write for Aura, because the way you analyze, the way you told about the articles, the way you put in the input you gave, the way extra things which should have been added to the article you discussed, I feel that you all should write for Aura, and I invite all of you to write for Aura, and all those who are watching us, the live streaming. It's a little late, I think. I hope everyone is watching us. Whoever have started are watching till the end. I invite you also to write, and then know that this is your Aura. This is yours. Aura is active in all the social media platforms. So kindly support us by carrying it to the masses. Kindly support us by spreading the word among your contacts. Once again, thanking all of you for your contributions and opinions, which was enriching. And thanking the organizers for the commendable job. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam. Jazakallahu khairan kathira. Thank you very much, Waji. At last, we have reached at the end of our program. I would like to invite Sister Reshma, coordinator of this event, for closing remarks. Sister Reshma.
Assalamu alaikum. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you, and good evening to everyone. When you rise in the morning, thanks everyone for everything you have. If you see that you have, excuse me one second. So sorry for the disturbance. So when you rise in the morning, thanks for everything you have. If you see no reason to give thanks, the fault lies in yourself. Gratitude is the sign of noble souls. I, Reshma Sultana, feel incredibly honored and privileged to have been allowed to extend a vote of thanks for this fantabulous review meet. I'm immensely thankful to the Almighty for the successful completion of today's program and his ample blessings upon us. On behalf of Aura Readers Club and Jamaat-e-Islami Hind Andhrapradesh, I would like to extend my gratitude to the chief editor of this Aura magazine, Rahmatun Nisa ma'am, for giving Andhra Pradesh readers an opportunity to organize this wonderful event. I would like to thank sub-editor Sister Shaima for beautifully initiating the program by her welcome address, and Sister Hajra and Sister Nishat for the melodious Quran recitation and its comprehensible translation respectively. Thank you so much. I also thank all the editorial board members of the Aura magazine. I augment my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speakers, the enthusiastic review experts, Dr. Sister Candy Dikuna, Sheikh Arifa ma'am, Shashi ma'am, Sashila ma'am, Hina ma'am, and Shamim ma'am, Nalini ma'am, Lavanya ma'am, Shabina ma'am, Akila Parveen ma'am, for gracing this event by putting forward their very special, privileged views, their constructive inputs, and sharing their valuable time. It's not that easy for the readers, the activists, the professors to actually take out their valuable time and come out for this to give the review like this. So it's really commendable. So we are really honored that we have you today in our program. So thank you so much. And I also extend my sincere gratitude to Jamaat-e-Islami Hind, especially Fatima Kausar Sahiba and Kanita Salma Sahiba, for their support in organizing this event. I would also thank the technical team associated with this program for the immense work behind the screen, as this program, alhamdulillah, went without any technical glitch. So thank you so much for them. I wholeheartedly thank Sayyida Umayma Shahwar Maryam, the host of today's program. Thank you so much, Umayma. And last but not least, I thank all the viewers of this program. And you have stayed from the beginning till the end. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'm looking forward for this kind of opportunities more to build up the women empowerment, inshallah. Thank you very much once again, and greetings until next time.
The session is ended.